My black craftsman repaired the door, yet shattered my marriage, a true tale of infidelity. He pressed his lips against mine in the dim light of my garage, as the rain cascaded down, and my wedding ring lingered on my finger. I allowed him to continue. I ought to have, yet, in that instant, as the tempest beyond mirrored the turmoil within, I sensed a profound recognition. Vibrant. Seeking, what began as a fractured banister evolved into a fissure in all that I once believed to be unshakable. What transpired next will leave you utterly astonished. This narrative transcends the mere tale of betrayal. It unfolds as a tale of rediscovery, steeped in regret, exploring the boundaries we claim we won't breach until we find ourselves crossing them. Welcome to Vows and Betrayals, a space where authentic voices share unfiltered, genuine tales of love, loss, and the pivotal moments that alter our lives forever. Before we embark on this journey, be sure to like and subscribe for more tales that linger in your mind, and share this if you've ever found yourself at the precipice of a decision you never anticipated. From that singular kiss, everything transformed. Once, I believed that loneliness echoed, a cacophony of tears in the stillness of night, or the desperate pleas for someone to remain. Yet, true solitude. Silence envelopes the surroundings. It resembles the quiet act of folding laundry. Watering the garden, yet devoid of an audience to appreciate its beauty. As I sit in solitude, the laughter of bygone sitcoms fills the air, while my dinner languishes, forgotten and cold. That was the essence of my existence. Rebecca Adams is the name I bear. I am 48 years old. In the quaint town of Asheville, North Carolina, rich with charm and history, I find myself teaching part-time at an elementary school, where the gentle rain nurtures the roses into a perpetual bloom. My husband, David, is employed at a bank. He journeys frequently. A man who consistently remembers to send a Mother's Day card, yet occasionally overlooks the simple act of inquiring about how my day unfolded. He isn't a bad man. Merely occupied, far away. Resembling a figure from my past. Our children have reached adulthood. Once more, silence envelopes the house. At times, an unsettling stillness envelopes the surroundings. In the early hours, I find myself in the garden, tending to the plants, nurturing new life, all the while feigning that the stillness is a deliberate decision. The porch banister had remained precariously loose for more than 2 months. Each time I strolled by with a laundry basket in hand, it trembled beneath my touch. I brought it up to David on 2 occasions. He mentioned that he would attend to it this weekend. Yet, the weekends drifted by, fleeting and ephemeral. As is customary, I found myself devoid of anger. Not quite. Exhausted from the endless wait. One morning, nestled among grocery coupons and realtor advertisements, I stumbled upon a flyer in the mailbox. Dependable handyman services. No task is too minor. A name elegantly inscribed at the bottom. Ethan Parker. A familiar presence in the community, authorized. Accessible during the weekdays. I gave it little thought, yet, that old banister groaned once more beneath my touch, and a part of me fractured. I made the call. I believed he had merely repaired the banister. To my surprise, he saw me in a manner my husband hadn't in what felt like an eternity. On a Thursday morning, the world began to stir. A sky caught in a perpetual state of indecision, wavering between the promise of rain and the allure of clarity. I had nearly lost track of the fact that I had reached out to someone. As I swung the door open, there he stood, toolbox in one hand, the other deftly adjusting the brim of his cap. "Good morning, ma'am, Ethan Parker." A call was made regarding the banister. His voice carried a warmth, laced with a subtle undertone, perhaps an accent, or perhaps simply the essence of kindness. I drew my sweater closer around me. Indeed, that is correct. Step this way, if you please. He trailed behind me to the porch, his steps measured and soft, as if he sought to preserve the stillness that enveloped us. Upon closer inspection, he appeared to be in his mid-30s. Skin of an olive hue, luxuriant dark tresses beginning to form gentle curls at the tips. Not traditionally attractive, yet exuding a serene presence. Here it is. A man who seemed to savor each moment, unhurried and content in his presence. "This won't take long," he said, kneeling to inspect the wood. "The framework remains sound, it simply requires a bit of bolstering." I hesitated, caught in a moment of indecision, torn between the urge to stay and the instinct to let him be. From the kitchen, I observed through the window. There was an undeniable quality to his approach, deliberate and unhurried, as if time itself had decided to linger in his presence. Approximately 40 minutes later, he rapped gently on the door. "All done," he declared, his hands being wiped clean on a cloth. "It should be robust now." I emerged and leaned against the railing. It remained steadfast. I expressed my gratitude with a smile, saying thank you, indeed. He inclined his head, a faint smile playing at the corners of his lips. "Please inform me if anything else arises." I nearly uttered that it has indeed, yet I refrained. He descended the steps, each footfall echoing softly, before vanishing toward his truck, swallowed by the shadows of the evening. Upon re-entering, the house enveloped me in an unusual stillness, and it struck me, for the first time in ages, that I had finally felt acknowledged. I reassured myself that it was merely a garage door, just a minor repair to address. Yet, in all honesty, I believe I yearned to encounter him once more. A week slipped by, the porch railing remained steadfast, yet the garage door had begun to resist its usual glide. It emitted a low groan as I pried it open, then shuddered violently when I attempted to shut it once more. "It's nothing of great consequence, there is no immediate concern." Yet, that is sufficient. The number belonging to Elias remained affixed to the fridge. I gazed at it for an uncomfortably long time. And then I made the call. The following morning, he arrived, consistent calm demeanor. A steady and tranquil demeanor. The same baseball cap, yet, I observe now that it bore a slight fading at the edges. On this occasion, I presented him with a refreshing glass of iced tea. "Thank you," he said, lingering in the cool shade beside the garage. The sun had begun its ascent, casting a gentle warmth upon the concrete below. "You possess a remarkable skill," I remarked, gesturing toward his tools. "It is my craft," he responded, his voice resonated with a low, steady timbre, carrying a hint of wisdom that belied his youth. Our words were few, yet the quiet between us felt comfortable. It was a shared sense of camaraderie. I inquired about his history. He recounted his journey as an engineer in Iran, his transition to the States for education, and how he discovered a passion for crafting with his hands. In the wake of his wife's passing, he chose to remain. "I didn't want to start over again," he said, his gaze drifting just beyond my reach. I nodded, not out of complete comprehension, but from an awareness of what it meant to remain anchored in a space, even when fragments of your being yearned to depart. Upon completing the garage door, it glided with a smoothness not experienced in years. "You always show up," I murmured softly. His gaze lingered on me for a moment that felt just a heartbeat too extended. "Indeed, you do," he responded. Words eluded me in that moment. With a smile, I expressed my gratitude once more and observed him as he departed. Yet this time, an unseen presence trailed him back to his truck. A fragment of myself that I believed I had hidden away long ago. It was meant to be the final occasion. Merely a handful of twisted planks on the rear deck, nothing beyond that. Yet on that day, a change occurred, one that transcended the mere shifting of the wood beneath us. The steps of our back deck had begun to droop. David mentioned he would reach out to someone. He did not, thus, I proceeded. As Elias drove into the driveway, I found myself kneeling beside the flower beds, my hands soiled, knees damp from the earth. "You're going to wear me out, Maggie," he quipped, stepping out with a toolbox in hand. With a smile, I brushed the soil from my palms, ensuring your continued employment. The task extended beyond the anticipated time frame. The boards exceeded my expectations for the worse. The late afternoon bathed everything in a warm, golden glow as I offered him a sandwich and a refreshing lemonade, along with a chair to sit in. We lingered together on the steps of the deck. He shared with me tales of his mother's garden in Ethiopia, where the fragrance of jasmine forever echoed her laughter. That I shared with him the stories of the children, the serene stillness that settled in once they left home, and how David had long ceased to sit outside. He remained silent, absorbing every word, as he so often did. He spoke then, his voice low and contemplative. "Your home is truly lovely, Maggie. Yet, at times, it seems as though your conviction wavers." I hesitated before responding that I was unable to. The sun sank lower in the sky, casting elongated shadows over the grass, as a gentle breeze stirred, yet we remained still. He rose to his feet and resumed his tasks that I observed, yet the silence that lingered between us no longer felt devoid of meaning. It felt complete, as if a long-held secret had at last been revealed. If you've ever experienced a feeling too profound to articulate, simply drop a dot in the comments, for in certain moments, a mere dot can convey a depth of meaning that surpasses the eloquence of 1,000 words. It was neither the rain nor the broken faucet. His gaze lingered on me, as if I were still someone deserving of attention. The upstairs bathroom had begun to leak, not in torrents, but rather with a sporadic drip from the aging faucet. Sufficient to irritate me, yet not quite enough to compel haste. Once more, David had ventured out of town, leaving the children absent from the scene. The house lay in a stillness that felt almost oppressive, an unsettling silence enveloping every corner. As I stood before the mirror that morning, I brushed my hair, observing the water cascade into the sink. The steady sound of water falling, one drop after another, and then I made the call. Elias made his entrance by the time the sun had climbed to its zenith in the morning sky. I welcomed him with a tentative smile.